Welcome back to another video. We are a day away from the NBA draft as of when this is being recorded, or at least, day one of the draft since it's 2 days now. The offseason is basically just getting started. We haven't even hit the draft. So we only really have had the Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey trade, a few different coach hirings, some extensions like Malik Monk, Pascal Siakam. But we still have a lot of rumors, like in news that, maybe a lot of y'all don't know about. So that's why we're going to be going over it and giving my personal opinions about it. I don't want to yap too long because I know people are going to click off and stuff. But I just want to say that tomorrow during the draft, I will be live on Twitch if you want to tune in. Watch the draft basically with me. And I'll give kind of my breakdown on certain picks during the draft. We'll see how it goes. It will be on Twitch, and my Twitch is in my YouTube bio. If you want to go take a look, go follow, and I'll be live during the draft, or at least the round one. I don't know about day two on Thursday. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah. So I have NBA Central, Hoops Hype, just some pages that I kind of look through to get my NBA news. And we're gonna basically be going through and giving my personal opinions about some stuff, and you can learn, I guess, a little bit about what's been happening so far. So first thing we have is Brandon Ingram, which this was 12 minutes ago. Brandon Ingram likely played his last game as a Pelican, and I'm not gonna lie, I basically have been saying this. If y'all watch, a lot of my other videos, my Orlando Magic rebuild, I traded for Brandon Ingram in that video because I was basically saying that Brandon Ingram is not going to be back on this team. I think for multiple reasons. One being, he literally is playing on a team where they have to, find a way to get Herb Jones and Trey Murphy back if they want to, extend them. They don't have that much money with, CJ McCollum getting paid a lot. Obviously, Brandon Ingram, which is a big reason why he could be traded. And then they have Zion. And, the money is, I think, the biggest problem and, why he will end up being traded. But also, I think they've just had the same team for the last few years, and nothing's really built too much with it. Aside from, obviously, Zion kind of hasn't really played playoff games, so that doesn't help. But I think they need to make a move, and I think Brandon Ingram, it makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot of teams that could go out and try to get Brandon Ingram for sure. But, we'll have to obviously see where he ends up. I would like to see a lot of the teams like, maybe the Hawks. They have the first pick. Who knows if they end up shopping it, or DeJounte Murray type of move. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I'm totally behind this too. I think Brandon Ingram is not going to come back. Next, we have Paul George seeking a 4-year deal. Among the key elements regarding Paul George's future with the Clippers or elsewhere, league sources say the 34-year-old continues to seek a new 4-year contract. Returning to the Clippers has been long guarded as George's preferred scenario, but LA is believed to point the offshore deal. Okay, so if you watched a few videos ago, I had my free agency prediction. And I think he will end up on the 76ers. That being said, I think his time with the Clippers is over. I think, especially with this news, which was an hour ago, of him seeking a 4-year contract, and the Clippers don't really want to give him, a 4-year contract, and they want to give him a shorter-term deal. I think that's going to be a big reason. Now, he has his player option, which he will be getting paid a lot on his player option. So I feel like if he is going to turn down his player option and go to free agency, then he's for sure leaving the Clippers, I think. And then if he accepts it, I think there's a really good chance it's going to be for a trade and then sign an extension with the team once he gets, to whatever destination he ends up. In my free agency video, if you want to go watch that, if you haven't, I did say I think he will be a 76er. And I could see teams like the Knicks also try to go out and get him. Or maybe I've heard even the Warriors. So we'll see. But, an NBA executive says OG Anunoby is holding the New York Knicks by the balls, it says. They said that they can't lose him the same way Pascal Siakam got his max from the Pacers. You can't trade for someone so much and then let him go. So yeah, I mean, I feel like another thing referencing my free agency video, I said the Spurs are gonna go out and get him. Now I know like it's kind of a out there kind of take, but I feel like crazy things happen in the offseason every year, or at least for the most part, and I think that's my one kind of not crazy because it's not like OG Anunoby's like a superstar, but like he's trying to get as much money as possible, and I mean for the Knicks they traded Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett for him, so it's like they're gonna need to try to retain him. As maybe we get to later on, I seen obviously reports that he is trying to get 35 million at least. I don't know if I would say he's worth it, but obviously if you're trying to retain him and that's his market's really big, then obviously you're gonna have to overpay for him to keep him. Do I like it for the Knicks? I don't know, because I mean obviously he was a really good addition on the Knicks. And when he was healthy, he was helping them win a lot of games. But I feel like at the same time, I don't know if paying OG Anunoby is gonna be the final move. Like they're gonna need to make other moves if they want to win a championship. At least I feel. And I don't know how much money I don't know how much money they would have if they do end up signing him for that 35 million, especially with Isaiah Hartenstein. I expect him to get a pretty good amount of money from the Knicks, unless for whatever reason they didn't retain him. So I don't know how much that's gonna all work out. But yeah, so I don't know. I still think there's a good chance the Spurs go out and overpay to get him and try to lure him away from the Knicks. Next we have Zach LaVine. They say really fits with Josh Giddey, and there's a scenario in which they try and rehab this relationship. Me, obviously, being someone who likes the Bulls, this is the most Chicago Bulls thing I've seen in a while. Like, if they end up actually keeping Zach LaVine, it's insane. The only way I would see him actually staying on this team is if there's literally zero market for Zach LaVine and they feel like it's much better to just keep him than to buy him out. But I think that's not the case. There's definitely, I think, teams that are willing to give up at least second-round picks and obviously something to match salaries to make it work. Because it's Zach LaVine. Obviously, his contract, he's getting paid a lot of money, and it's not just 1 year. And then also, he's been injured kind of a lot recently. He doesn't look to be, the same Zach LaVine. But I still think he's obviously really good, and so for that reason, I feel like he definitely still has at least some value to where you're not going to have to buy him out. So I really hope the Bulls don't do it. I actually could see a world where the Bulls do it, though. Like, the Bulls are a team that has been ran terribly, and I could definitely see it happening. As long as they don't keep Zach LaVine, Vucevic, and DeMar. If they keep all three of them, there's something wrong. If they keep Zach LaVine, I mean, I guess. But then you're going to have to, I think, move on from DeMar or Vucevic or both. I think if they retain all three of them and just kind of run it back with the same team, just the Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso trade, then it's just fire the front office at that point. LeBron James, Anthony Davis reportedly want the Lakers to go all in on another elite player. I mean, I definitely could see the Lakers making a change, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can kind of tie it in with this as I look down and seen this. The Lakers remain uninterested in trading Austin Reeves for DeJounte Murray. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like these kind of go negatively against each other. If the Lakers are uninterested in trading Austin Reeves for DeJounte Murray, you don't have too many other crazy valuable assets on this team, as we still don't know what's going to happen with D'Lo and free agency. And then, aside from Austin Reeves and like D'Lo, you have like Rui Hachimura. But aside from that, like no one's going to get you an elite level player on that team. You obviously still have some other decent assets like, Jared Vanderbilt, stuff like that. But nothing's going to get you an elite player aside from trading him. And it kind of goes against right here. Obviously, you're saying that they want them to go all in, but they don't want to trade Austin Reeves. And I feel like you have to, obviously, if you want to get an elite player. But I don't know. I mean, it hasn't really worked out, the trying to get another third star on this team for the Lakers in the past. And I feel like, obviously, they have to make, I think, a move because they've had now, the same team for the last year and a half. And I think especially with LeBron's, window being so short for his remaining time in the league, you definitely do have to make, some moves to try to build, a championship level roster. I don't really know any third stars that are really on the market for real, aside from maybe DeJounte Murray, but I wouldn't say he's an elite player. Like, he's obviously a really good player, but is he an elite player to me? I don't know. I don't really think he's, changing this team that crazy of an amount, especially if, the rumor thing was kind of like Austin Reeves, D'Lo. I, maybe biased because I'm a D'Angelo Russell fan, but I don't think that his impact is going to change this team that much, as the biggest problem with this team is three-point shooting. If you lose D'Lo for DeJounte Murray, D'Lo is one of your best, three-point shooters. I don't think replacing him, obviously defensively it's a better player, but I just don't think the fit is as good as D'Angelo Russell on this team. I think D'Lo is a better pick and roll player, which fits really well with Anthony Davis. And then a better shooter. I think you need to add more shooters on this team. I don't think, maybe Austin Reeves, if they could, get for DeJounte Murray, then so what? Obviously, you would have to see what else they have to give up. But I don't know. I mean, there's not many elite players that they can really go out and get. Like, Donovan Mitchell, I don't think is being traded, and that's the only other guy. The Warriors have exhibited no desire to part ways with Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, and Trayce Jackson Davis. Getting a veteran impact player almost certainly would require moving Kuminga, who projects to have the highest upside. I mean, it depends. With this, I could understand not wanting to get rid of Kuminga, but I feel like pieces like Moses Moody, out of all these names, I could understand these other guys, but I feel like with Moses Moody, I feel like if you really want to maximize, actually winning a championship with this team, you're going to have to, I think, make, you have to part ways with some of these younger guys if you want to win a championship. And if not, then you're going to have to obviously deal with the consequences of trying to balance a really young team with, some of your veterans and trying to, balance that out. If you really want to go win a ring, you're going to have to, I think, lose some of these guys. Kuminga, I could understand. Obviously, he's looked amazing, and it was really, really good last year. Honestly, for a lot of the season, he looked like he was really the second option in terms of scoring on the team. And I really do like Kuminga, and I think it depends. Obviously, I would think about giving up Kuminga if you really, really see a really, really good player that you can go out and get. But I think it would have to be a really high level. But some of these other guys, I mean, obviously they're great and all, but I feel like if you want to win a ring, you're going to have to give someone up. Kind of unrelated, but shout out to Florida Panthers and obviously, Celtics both winning a ring. Matthew Tkachuk and Jason Tatum. But, anyways, Detroit Pistons, Utah Jazz are showing interest in Tobias Harris. Another thing, going back to my, free agency predictions video, I had the Pistons getting Tobias Harris. So this obviously fits, really well with my prediction. As, like I said, we probably will react to my free agency predictions and see if I was right about anything. But yeah, I would definitely like both these teams to try and go out and get a veteran like Tobias Harris. I expect a lot of the other teams, maybe the Spurs, just one of those teams where they'll pay him the money and he could be a good veteran, wing player for your team to try to just improve your team. Next, we have the Knicks, Jazz, and Rockets are three teams that have been checking on Mikal Bridges. It says Brooklyn Swingman, Mikal Bridges. Player monitor, Utah's most aggressive aspiration. The Jazz are said to be the right mix with Houston holding third pick. Okay, so with this, I feel like everyone's kind of known that a lot of teams have interest in Mikal Bridges, as he's basically a perfect fit, I think, on any team in the league. Like, this is a good plug-and-play, player. Like, you put him on any team, he's not going to be a bad fit. The thing is, it's all coming down to the Nets and what they actually would do. I think they had the best opportunity to trade him when they first kind of got him, when they had, there was a rumor that they got like 4 first-round picks and they turned it down. And I feel like his value is going to keep decreasing over time as he gets closer to, the last year of his deal. Especially when I don't think he's, a superstar. Like, I don't know why, but a lot of people have been talking about him as an all-star. I think he's a really, really good player. Probably, if we're talking about role players, he's probably one of the best, if not the best role player in the league, I would say. But I don't think this guy's an all-star. And I don't think he's going to ever really be an all-star, as I feel like he's kind of already hit that age where I just don't see him being much more than what he already is now. It's not like I don't think they're banking on him to be an all-star or something. And I don't think his value is going to take a jump. So I think if I'm the Nets, I would trade him now. I mean, I feel like the Nets, such an interesting team right now. They basically, trade all their picks for Harden. Interesting situation. But I would like all these teams. The Rockets, I think this is a team that is going to be really interesting to watch. They're for sure, I think, going to acquire someone. With that third pick they have. So I would like to see who they end up getting. Maybe they can get someone better than Mikal Bridges, but who knows? We'll see. Next, we have the Lakers shopping the 17th pick. Jeremy Grant is a potential trade target. Yeah, this is another thing where, I definitely see the Lakers possibly trading their pick. Actually, another thing with the Lakers, so we kind of tie this in, I guess. They could target Jonas Valanciunas. This is a team that I did say could target him for sure in my free agency video. Keep referencing that because I feel like my free agency video was actually pretty good, like prediction-wise. Obviously, we don't know yet, but yeah, with this, I definitely could see a world Jeremy Grant gets traded. I don't know. I honestly want it to happen. I would love to see him go to like a team where he actually can compete. The Lakers, maybe we'll get to it later if we keep scrolling it down. But there's still also a lot of rumors of him possibly going to the Mavericks. So yeah, I would definitely like to see Jeremy Grant traded. Also open a lot of minutes on a team that basically is starting from kind of square one in a rebuild in Portland. So I would like to see this happen. I don't know if 17 in this year's draft. I don't know what else they would have to give up, but 17 in this draft I don't think is worth Jeremy Grant. So I don't know. We'll see. League insiders believe that a trade between the Rockets, who have the number 3 pick, and the Grizzlies, who offer the number 9, and Marcus Smart, is something to monitor. I don't mind this trade, I think, for both teams, if this did actually happen. Obviously, depending on what the Grizzlies draft, I think if they trade up to 3, it's going to be Donovan Clingan. I think that's this team's number one priority in this draft is getting someone like Donovan Clingan. But, I feel like, is it... maybe you could trade up, but I don't know if you have to trade up to 3 to get him. The Spurs, I don't see getting him at 4. I don't see him going 5 to the who has number 5 again? Oh yeah, the Pistons. I don't see him going number 5 to the Pistons. So I feel like 6 is the first spot where you have to start thinking about, okay, is he gonna go there? So I don't know if you have to trade up that high for the Grizzlies, but if you're obviously really like him and want to make sure you do get him, then I could understand trading up, number 9 to number 3 and giving away Marcus Smart, who didn't really show too much of what he could fit like with this team, considering they basically had a wash of a year this year with all the injuries. Golden State Warriors could show interest in trading for Paul George. We kind of basically already went over that. Hey, I would like to see the Warriors make a move with this team and not run it back for sure, but something tells me there's a good chance for some reason that they're going to kind of just run it kind of back. I don't know. I feel like the Warriors are always in trade rumors and they never end up making trades. Literally, there was a span of, I don't even know how many years, but it's they literally were just not making trades during the season for I think it was at least 5 years. And, so I don't know. We'll see. Paul George opting in and then requesting trade is starting to feel like a realistic option. So a lot of this is about Paul George, and I definitely see, a good chance, like I said, that happens. I don't think he's going to stay on the Clippers. We have OG Anunoby, declining player option. We kind of already went over OG Anunoby. Then we have some JJ Redick stuff. I mean, the only thing, I guess we can kind of go over it here since basically y'all see he got hired. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people have been talking about this as a bad hiring and that he's not someone that knows about basketball, but I feel like that's a dumb statement. Like, this guy, if you hear him talk, the few times he was on ESPN, if you hear him talk, this guy knows his stuff about basketball. I definitely think he's better than Darvin Ham at least. That guy literally just had his hand in his pockets half the time, sitting on the sideline. And I mean, in terms of other like options, they try to go out and get Dan Hurley, but I feel like there's not many other options they could have got since they couldn't get him. I don't know if there's that many other options that make, better options than, taking a chance on someone like JJ Redick to possibly, he's really young. This guy could, if he works out really well with this team, maybe he's the coach for the next 20 years of this team. Who knows? So I think that I don't mind this hiring at all. Obviously, if y'all know, D'Angelo Russell is my favorite player. So kind of basically a Lakers fan unless he leaves. I do not mind this hiring at all. They say Zach Edey. I look at him and say, what is Jonas Valanciunas was 6 inches taller. I don't know. I'm not too big on Zach Edey, if I'm being honest. If you saw like my mock draft, I think I literally said I don't think he's gonna go like in the first round in it, which maybe a pretty crazy take, is I think now looking back at it, he probably will be a first rounder. But I don't know. I'm not too big on Zach Edey. I don't know. I'll have to see. Maybe I'm just hating. I don't know. But we'll see. De'Aaron Fox, likely or not likely, he said that he will not sign an extension with the Kings this summer as he wants to first see the long-term vision for the team's roster. Honestly, I do really like this for, De'Aaron Fox to do. Even if he is still committed to playing for the Kings, I feel like this really helps put pressure on the team to, pull some strings, make some moves to make this a really, really good team. Obviously, if he just signs an extension, they're kind of like, okay, boom, we have him locked up. We have Sabonis locked up. We kind of maybe could sit back and play a little more careful. But when you do something like this, it kind of puts pressure on the franchise to, okay, our star player, he doesn't want to sign an extension. We're going to have to really make it a good destination to stay on this team. And now I think it puts a lot of pressure on this team to, make some moves. So I do actually really like this for De'Aaron Fox, even if, like I said, he doesn't want to make a change in where he plays. I just think it's a good, kind of like we seen with Giannis. He basically did the same thing. He was like, with the Bucks, he wanted to see them make moves before he signs an extension. I like this for De'Aaron Fox. Chicago Bulls rejected the Sacramento Kings trade offer, the 13th pick for Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. I didn't really go over it when I did make the trade video for Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso, but the thing is that I think a lot of people don't understand about this trade is obviously the only part, like I said, that was bad about this is that they didn't maximize what they could have got for Alex Caruso. But I feel like, do I want 13 over Josh Giddey? I don't know. This is a weak draft class. I don't know if I want the 13th pick in this class over Josh Giddey, who's shown that he could at least be a role player in the NBA. And he also has shown potential. He's been a high pick in the draft. And obviously it sucks you couldn't maximize his value, but I feel like Josh Giddey is better than a lot of things you could have traded for. A lot of people say, they should have got some picks. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you trade Alex Caruso for 2 first-round picks and it's, a team that's going to obviously be a contender every year, then it's like, do I want, Josh Giddey or 2 picks in the late first round? I think I'm taking Josh Giddey. I don't know if I think that taking a risk on a player that's, a late 20s pick or something, some of those guys might never even see minutes in the NBA. So obviously I think that it's not as bad of a trade as people make it seem. in terms of the value for, Alex Caruso right now. Obviously, it sucks they couldn't maximize it, but sometimes it is what it is. I definitely think Josh Giddey for, Alex Caruso's better than taking the 13th pick for Alex Caruso. We have some stuff about Serbian coaches. I mean, I don't know. I have seen this girl. She's like 7'3". That's crazy. We don't really care about talking about where Tim Hardaway is gonna go. Aside from, I mean, hey, he might score a lot of points if he played for the Wizards. They would only consider trading Kuminga for an All NBA player. We kind of looked at that. I do really like that. Not gonna lie. But only trading this guy for an All NBA player does make a lot of sense. I think he definitely has a lot of potential. Portland could target Zach Edey with the 7th pick. Please don't do this. If the Trailblazers do this, please just no, bro. Don't do this. I don't think he's worth this high of a pick, and I don't really like drafting Zach Edey because I don't think he has a high potential. And I feel like with the Trailblazers, starting basically from square one, you need to draft someone with high potential, like not some Again, maybe I'm just sleeping on Zach Edey, but I don't know. I don't think he's got all-star potential. What else? Houston Rockets could target Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler. I would like to, like I say, I said kind of with the Mikal Bridges thing, I think the Rockets are going to make a trade for sure with that 3rd pick. I don't see them keeping it. I could see them keeping it, but I don't think it will happen. And I don't know if they can get someone like Kevin Durant, but like maybe Jimmy Butler. There's been a lot of rumors with Jimmy Butler. And it said also Mikal Bridges and Brandon Ingram. I would like the Brandon Ingram one. I think Brandon Ingram honestly might be the most realistic one. Mikal Bridges seems like the Nets don't want to, part ways with him. The only way it would make sense is if they trade him and get their picks back since, the Rockets have their picks. And then Jimmy Butler, I guess maybe. But I feel like Brandon Ingram was the most realistic one, considering I think, like, he kind of went over as the first thing in this video. Brandon Ingram will be traded. So who knows? We'll see. No, yeah, back to this with the OG Anunoby thing, expecting $35 million. I mean, I know, like, there's basically inflation. Like, players are starting to get paid a lot more. So maybe $35 million, I'm thinking in my head, is a lot of money, because that used to be, like, what a max contract would be. But now you see them getting paid upwards to like 48 to 50 million. So like maybe it's not as crazy as I think, but I still think 35 million for him is an insane amount. Like, and I get it. He's got all the leverage in this, with the Knicks since they traded for him. So I don't know. Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton are available on the trade market. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think the Bucks need to make some changes. Is it Bobby Portis the one? I mean, it depends, obviously, what you get in return. But I think Bobby Portis is a really good fit. Pat Connaughton, I don't know what his value even is. But, hey, if you want to move on for Pat Connaughton, I guess go for it. Rockets also interested in Paul George. I think the Rockets are interested in anybody they can get. They're going to be trying to make some type of trade, I think, for sure. Caleb Martin is expected to opt out of his contract with the Heat, seek a bigger payday. I mean, hey, I don't know how much money you could try to get, but go for it. I'm not going to lie. The Hawks are willing to take Alex Sarr with the number 1 pick, may force the Wizards to trade up. I do actually not mind this for the Hawks. I feel like at this point, if y'all don't know, Alex Sarr, apparently they have not been able to get like inside their practice facility. They couldn't get any workout with him. And it says that apparently they might just take him anyways and try to basically force the Wizards to trade up, since he basically said the Wizards is his favorite destination to go to. And I feel like not a bad move the Hawks did, considering, hey, let's try to at least maximize out of this. Rich Assar, who would be their first pick if they are going to take, probably who they will actually take. I feel like they can get him at number 2, obviously, if they make this trade with them and get at least some type of capital, whether it's picks, a player, I don't know, something out of it to try to pull the strings to make them have to get Alex Sarr for some type of value. So I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting draft. I think this is one of the most unpredictable drafts we've kind of seen in a while, considering there's not really too many players that I see are too much better than other players in the draft, and I feel like it's a lot about fit rather than, actual skill. Next, they have the Spurs showing interest in Donovan Clingan with Wemby. I don't know how that would fit. I would like to maybe see it, but I don't know. It's an interesting fit. Colin Sexton, potential trade target for the Lakers. I don't know. There's so many trade targets for the Lakers. And obviously me, like I said, kind of liking the Lakers. I even think about it in a realistic part. I know there's a lot of, delusional Lakers fans that just think they're going to get everyone. But, realistically, what are you going to give up to get Colin Sexton? Unless you're giving up, only picks, I don't know what players you trade that make this an upgrade. I don't think trading Austin Reeves for Colin Sexton would be an upgrade. I don't think trading Rui and some picks moves the needle too much. So I think it really depends what you're giving up to get Colin Sexton. He was having a pretty good year in Utah, but, I don't know if he moves the needle unless you don't give up that much, of your actual roster. If you're only giving up picks, then, I guess I don't mind it, but I don't know. Lakers, Clippers expected to show interest in Chris Paul. I don't mind this, obviously both of these teams, as point guard is a big need for both of them. And yeah, they get a veteran, Chris Paul. I would not mind. Dallas Mavericks checked in on Jeremy Grant. Kind of went over that. This is insanity. What the fuck am I looking at? Let's see. Is there anything else to go over? Momentum is building towards Klay Thompson leaving Golden State and searching for a fresh start, even if the Warriors made him a competitive offer. I don't know. I said I think he might go back, but I might take that back. I don't know. It's kind of crazy take, but I don't know. So that's kind of all you have for here. So let's maybe go take a look at what's it called? Let's take a look maybe at what's it called? Hoops Hype. To see if there's anything different that we kind of haven't already went over. Basically, this is about Royce O'Neal re-signing. I wouldn't mind. Anything else that is worth kind of going over? Oh, this is pretty cool to see. Obviously, this is one of the highest ranking women in NBA front office. So this is cool to see for Swing Cash. For sure. I definitely, it's cool to see. Bulls expected to bring back Patrick Williams. The draft for the Celtics. Bulls have had conversations to move both up and back in the draft. If anything, I would say move up for them. Unless you're getting some picks in future drafts and you're trading back for future picks, I don't mind that as much, considering this is kind of a weak draft class and you think that the guy you want will be there, at whatever pick you're trading back to. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. What else we got? Let's see. Chris Tapp stuff about his injury. Former Mavericks player Nicolo Melli is signing with a Turkish team. Yeah, this is kind of showing, Alex Sarr declined to come work out for the Hawks. Yeah, so I just don't think he's going to the Hawks. He's not going to the Hawks. The only way they would draft him is to use it as leverage to make, the Wizards trade for him. Cavs signed, Kenny Atkinson as their coach. Reunited with Jared Allen and Karis LeVert. He coached the Nets team that was, that one 2019 Nets team that was really fun to watch. I don't really mind him actually going here. I kind of like I was saying with the JJ Redick thing. Who else is really a better option that they can go out and get than Kenny Atkinson? I don't know how many there really is. So I don't mind that hiring at all. What else they have? Promotion for a general manager. So yeah, there's not too much other than that. I mean, obviously there's some other stuff, but I feel like we kind of went over a pretty good amount of what's so far has happened this offseason. Kings interested in Kyle Kuzma. So yeah, we basically kind of went over all the stuff that really matters. Trying to keep it up to date, as you know, the draft is tomorrow, and that's going to change a lot of things. You know, the draft is, I think we're going to see some pretty interesting trades tomorrow for sure. But I feel like we kind of think that every year, and then some years it's just duds, like nothing happens. And then I see this about John Wall. This, I think, the last thing we'll kind of go over. Willing to accept any role to be back in the NBA. I would love to see this. You know, John Wall, Wizard days, he was like that. And I would love to see him just kind of stick in the NBA, you know, just be around the game. I know for him, he probably really, you know, that's why he wants to do it. He just wants to play in the NBA, and I really like that. So, yeah, basically that's it. We're going to leave off it there. So, yeah, so far that's basically everything that's happened this offseason. Obviously, like I said, draft tomorrow. I'll be, you know, live for it if y'all want to watch. I don't know how long this video is. It's probably pretty long. But yeah, so if y'all ended up watching till the end, now you kind of know everything that's basically happened so far this offseason, and we have the draft tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.